Dips and dipping sauces are wide and many across the globe, but a Mexican salsa has truly excited restaurant chefs across ages. So here is one of my most favorites, which is a mango salsa. To begin the mango salsa, let's first begin with a classic pico de gallo or an Indian kachumbar. For that, I'm using a red onion and I'm going to chop this not very fine, but kind of roughly. Let's transfer this in a bowl. In a classic pico de gallo or kachumbar, we generally use tomatoes, but in this case, I'm using a red bell pepper. And that is because I do not want too much color from the tomatoes. So here is cleaning the bell pepper, and we need to cut this into little dices. Let's transfer this in the bowl of onions. And with this, let's move on to spiking it up a little, and for that I'm using a green chili. Well, you can make it extremely spicy or you can keep it moderate. But for this recipe especially, I would prefer you adding little spice because it's a fruity salsa. You do not want that shot of extra spice. Let's follow this up with fresh coriander. You can use this with the fresh stems and stalks. I'm again not adding too much because I do not want the color of the vibrant salsa to change. To this, let's add in a touch of tabasco or sriracha as you like, followed by juice of half a lime or lemon, just like a dash of salt, not too much, because it's a fruity salsa. Let's now move on to the hero of the salsa, which is fresh Alfonso mango. But before moving on to cutting and processing the mango, let's quickly check on how to check a mango in the market. The first foremost thing is, of course, the smell. It has to be nice, fresh, fruity, and it has to transport you in the mango fields. That's of course one. The second one is not the color. It can be a little bit of a shade of green. It can be orangish, it can be reddish, it can be yellow, depending on the state that you're buying the mangoes in. The primary thing, of course, remains buying the mango from a vendor that you're comfortable buying from. Well, the thing that you need to check here, the point where the fruit and the stalk is attached, which is right here, just around that, there has to be a slight indent or a depression. Also, what is important to note here, the skin has to be lightly wrinkled for that nice and sweet mango. Do not take it over wrinkled because the fruit may be old and extremely sun-dried from within. Well, that's a good take on how to choose mangoes. Let's now move on to cutting the mango. Let's slice the top off to begin with. Now there are two ways how you can cut a mango. The first thing is to peel it completely. But what I feel is there's a lot of wastage while you do that. The important thing to note in a mango is that it has a seed or a stone running flat right in the center of the mango. Well, to hold the mango, you keep the highest point of the mango facing upwards and you slice it not in the center. So the first thing is to give it a center mark like this and moving half an inch on either sides of the mango and cutting it deep like so. What you get here is technically known as the cheek of a mango, and cut it half an inch on the other side. Well, the next is to use a small knife or a paring knife and to give it gashes like so. Not as deep as you would cut on the other side, which is the skin of the mango, but just to ensure that you cut the fruit. Let's turn this like so and continue giving the gashes. With the help of a spoon, I'm going to now scoop it out. Similarly, let's scoop the other cheek of the mango. With the seed or the stone of the mango, it's now important to peel it. All you need to do is pinch it and pull it apart like so. And give this a few gashes and cut it right here. And here comes the quickest part of the salsa, which is tossing it up. Once the mango salsa is nicely mixed, if you have some time at hand, you can keep this in the refrigerator so that the flavors kind of nicely infuse. But I am getting a little jittery and I want to eat this right away. So I have a platter full of chips and wafers, and I'm going to serve this with a bowl of nice, fresh and fruity mango salsa. While most restaurant chefs generally serve this with tacos and nachos chips, nothing is stopping us from serving this with khakras, papads or theplas. So by now you would have realized how quick, simple and easy this mango salsa is. And I would love to see this on your party menus. Do not forget to like and share the video and subscribe to Rajshri Food.